Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to this evening session. So we'll start now. Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let us start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Tirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pushtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. 1 minute. Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone to this evening session of Scriptural Pastimes. And we are in Canto 6, Chapter 13, towards the end of this chapter. Okay. Let me share the screen. Okay. Would anyone like to give the summary of what so happened so far from this chapter? The King Indra afflicted by sinful reaction. Anybody wants to give some summary? Or this week's summary is also okay, or yesterday's class is also okay. Any volunteers?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes.
Actually, the rishis advised King Indra to execute Vritrasura, but Indra was not interested. And then the rishis said that he can get rid of the sins by doing Ashwamedha Yaga. So then there will be a war and King Indra executes him. But actually it will be only the dead body which he cuts it off with a thunderbolt. And later he gets infected with Brahmahatya because Utrasura was a great devotee and a Brahmana. So the sin takes a personified form in the form of an old woman and follows him. So King Indra, to escape from the woman, he goes here and there and finally enters Manas Sarovara and stays in the subtle fibers of the stem of the lotus flower and stays there for thousands of years doing austerities. And finally he comes out of the sin, and then the rishis make him do the Ashwamedha Yajna and he will be restored. So meanwhile there will be another king in the heavenly planet. So that's that much I know, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji, for covering up. So, in the absence of Indra, Nahusha was appointed as a Indra in the post of Indra. He was taken care, but he was also got afflicted because of the position, and he also had a desire to enjoy Indra's wife. So he was cursed by a and later he became a snake. So then there is nobody in the as Indra, in the post of Indra, there was no one. So then again, the sages have performed the Ashwamedha Yajna and have given assurance to Indra to regain his position. So because of his tapasya also, what he has done in Manas Sarovar lake, So the sins could not affect him, and he was relieved by the reactions of the sinful activities because of worshipping Lord Vishnu. Power of worshipping Lord Vishnu. Any sins that we commit all get eradicated just by worshipping Lord Vishnu. Right? So now, like yesterday, Mataji has covered till text 20. So today we will see text 21. So who will volunteer to read this? Yeah, now please go ahead.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। Text 21. Mataji, should I read verse and translation?
Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Sure, Mataji. Savaji medena yathoditena vitayamanena marichi mishrehi ishtadi yagyam purusham purana minho mahanashna vidutapayah. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Indra was favored by Marichi and the other great sages. They performed the sacrifice just according to the rules and regulations, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, the original person. Thus Indra regained his exalted position and was again honored by everyone. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here we see that the King Indra, again, the sages, they have given an assurance to Indra that he will regain his position if they perform Ashwamedha Yajna. So now the Indra is again favored by Marichi, the same Marichi, and other great sages. The Marichi, very mercifully, he came to perform this Ashwamedha Yajna sacrifice along with other great sages, and they worshipped according to the rules and regulations, and thus Indra regained this exalted position. And again, he got back his honor also. Okay. So we'll go to the next shloka. This 22nd, 23rd is the Falashruti of reciting this Vritrasura story. So, yeah, what we can do is, one person can recite one shloka, another person will recite shloka and translation. Okay. So one of you can recite the shloka.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prashanti Mataji. Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Mataji, what should I do?
You read this first shloka, this shloka.
Mataji, that is
the
not
22nd.
visible. Yeah. Okay, Mataji. Idam mahakyanam asesha papamanam prakshalanam tidapadangura kirtanam bhakti uchrayam bhakta jananu varnanam Mahendra Moksham Vijayam Marutvataha. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So who will read the next one? Upali Mataji, can you read the next shloka and the translation also?
Yes. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dharmat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Pateyuraknanamidam sada buddha Shrivanti atho parvani indriyam dhanyam yashasyam nikhilagha mochanam ripujayam shashati ayanam
Swastam.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mataji, please scroll. Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, can you see Mataji? Yeah. I already scrolled. maybe it is slow. My network is slow. Can you see now?
Oh, Mataji, I cannot see. I can see only synonyms.
Can others see?
No, Mataji.
Mataji.
Oh, Mataji.
Okay, I'll again share. Let me-
Yes, Mataji, I can see now.
So you can see.
Thank
Oh,
you, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this very great narrative, there is glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. There are statements about the exaltedness of devotional service. There are descriptions of devotees like Indra and Vritrasura, and there are statements about King Indra's release from sinful life and about his victory in fighting the demons. By understanding this incident, one is relieved of all sinful reaction. Therefore, the learned are always advised to read this narration. If one does so, one will become expert in the activities of the senses, his opulence will increase, and his reputation will become widespread. One will also be relieved of all sinful reaction. He will conquer all his enemies, and the duration of his life will increase. Because this narration is auspicious in all respects, learned scholar regularly hear and repeat it on every festival day. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, purple? No, purple is Monday.
yeah, that's enough, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. So this is the Falashruti of hearing and reading the King Vritrasura story. So now, what is the Falashruti that the Bhagavatam is offering? It is saying that this is there is a glorification of Supreme Personality of God, and they are comprised of. What is the story comprised
Mataji,
of?
your voice
It
is
actually
breaking, Mataji.
Okay, 1 minute.
Mataji, if there's an issue with your network, maybe keeping your video off will help, Mataji.
Yeah, maybe I'll check. I'll do that. Am I audible now? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's better now.
Yes,
It's better.
Mataji.
Mataji, yes.
Okay. So now what is this Bhagavatam offering to all of us? The Falashruti for hearing and reading this Vritrasura prayers. So first thing is, this story contains the glorification of Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And also, it also glorifies the devotional service. And there is description of devotees, both kinds of devotees. Indra is also a devotee, Vritrasura is also a devotee. Of course, Vritrasura is a greater devotee, but at the end of the war, Indra realizes when Vritrasura, had a conversation with Indra, and he offers prayers. He speaks Shloki Bhagavatam and all that. After that, Indra realizes that this Vritrasura is not a normal person. He is a great personality. And he understands also, and because of that, he is not ready even to kill. Even though everybody was saying kill him, but even Vritrasura himself was saying, kill me. But Indra was not ready to kill him because he understood, like, if he kills him, he again incurs sinful reactions. So we understand how Indra also got transformed by the association of Vritrasura. So this is the exaltedness of these two personalities here. And then there are also statements about King Indra, really, how he got relieved from sinful reactions, and how he got a victory by fighting against the demons, and he also regained his kingdom back. So all these narrations, when we hear faithfully, and it's not just reading. Now, even though the Palashruti here, it is saying to read the story, then what is that we get? One will be relieved of all sinful reactions. So what happens? First thing is, if one does so, one will become expert in the activities of senses. What do you mean by expert in the activities of senses? Anyone would like to share?
Mataji, does it mean controlling
Control
desires?
senses.
They know how to use the senses. Expert in activities of the senses means what activities of the senses do? Ears are to hear, right? Sound. It hears the sound. So what kind of sound vibration ears are supposed to hear? So they understand that by hearing this narration, they will also develop enthusiasm and develop taste to hear the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Okay, so like that, and even to speak, speech, they will develop a taste to glorify the Lord. So these are the things which, that you gain by reading and hearing this narration of this pastime, and one will get opulence also will increase. What is the greatest opulence for all of us who are in the path of Krishna consciousness? To progress in our devotional life, to come closer to Krishna. That is the opulence that we have. And the reputation will also become widespread. This reputation is not mundane reputation, but actually we don't hanker for it, but Bhagavatam is offering that reputation, because wherever the glorification of the holy name is there, automatically people will glorify. Everyone else will also be happy and everyone glorifies, right? So like that, a reputation will also become widespread, and one will also be relieved of all sinful reactions. So even in our like a Chaura Agraganyam, even in that Chaurashtakam also, every day we read this prayer, right? Yadiya namapi haratya shesham giri prasaran apipaparasin ascharya rupa nanuchauridrik drishtashutova namaya kadapi. So there also we see that just mere utterance of the holy name of the Lord, it relieves one from the mountain of sins. Giri paparashin. So di prasaran api paparashin. So mountain of sins will get eradicated just by uttering the holy names of the Lord. Now, when you read and hear the glorification of the Lord, how much, even not only the Lord, it has glorification of his dear devotees also in this pastime. So it will relieve us from all the sinful reactions also. So these are the benedictions that Bhagavatam is offering to us for hearing the pastime attentively and with devotion and with the intention to transform our hearts. It will also conquer all his enemies. So who are the enemies for us? Can someone tell? What are the enemies that we have?
Anarthas, Mataji. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara, Lobha. The six.
Yeah, correct. So the enemies are not outside for us. Outside enemies are not stronger than the inside enemies. So the enemies that we have within are more stronger than external enemies that we see outside, right? So we will also conquer all those enemies. We will get rid of all these sanarthas. And then because we're always hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, these past duration of life also increases. Why is that the duration of life increases? This same thing comes in the second canto also, where the sages, they say that when we are speaking, they speak to Suta Goswami that please narrate glories of Sri Bhagavatam to all of us, because when you narrate continuously, even like in that assembly, when Yamaraj comes and sits. So wherever Srimad Bhagavatam is going on, Yamaraj is coming and sitting in that place. So he will not do his duty, right? So that way, our duration of life also will increase. So because this narration is auspicious in all respects, so Sukadeva Goswami is saying, learned scholars regularly hear and repeat it on every festival day. Okay, so this is the Falashruti which Bhagavatam is offering for hearing this pastime. So we will move on to the next chapter, which is entitled King Chitraketu's Lamentation. Can you see the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Is
Yes, Mataji, yes.
yeah. Okay, so before we go into this chapter 14, it's actually a small one only. But there are very, very instructive lessons from this in this chapter. So I will just give little, a bird's view of this chapter. So this pastime is already well known. Even previously in our discussions, we have touched upon Chitraketu pastime. So here, this is about the title itself. The title of the chapter itself is King Chitraketu's Lamentation. So, but it has lot of, we have to go through this chapter, though we know the pastime very well, but we should go through this. It is important to go through this chapter very deeply, because there are 5 characters. Each of them, impart important lessons, for all of us, by which, we can imbibe all those lessons in our personal life as sadhakas. So we have a character like Chitraketu, Kritadyuti, his wife, queens of King Chitraketu, Angira Muni and Narada Muni. So these 5 characters, each of them have many important lessons left behind us, which will help us in our personal life as a sadhakas. So in the beginning, Parikshit Maharaj, the chapter starts like that. The Parikshit Maharaj inquires about exaltedness of Vritrasura. Generally, if you see a hippie, you don't expect a hippie to recite some pure devotional prayers, right? Right? If some drug addict is there, so do you think that those people will chant some pure devotional prayers? No, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
but here, what happens, like generally we go by externals. So if someone is asura, we immediately label them as demon and anti-Vishnu. But in asura families also, we have seen great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, they were all born. And even Maya Danav, though he was a demon, he surrendered to Arjuna also. So
Vibhishan
we
also.
see that, yeah, correct. Vibhishan also, very good example. Correct, Mataji. So even the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he accepts even if someone is born in Asura family. That is what we have seen. This chapter in the first section, it talks about rarity of the bhakti. Okay. And then second part, there is a meeting that happens between Chitraketu and Angira. In that, there's again a deeper lessons that we can learn there, where Chitraketu was he had constant attachment. So like he had to undergo constant lamentation because of constant attachment. So what happens usually when we constantly lament? If a person is Shudra, who is always worried about the past and who is fearing about the future, he has no trust in anyone and he is hopeless and is depressed. How does he look? He look very ugly, right? It is like that person is like fallen into a pit where one cannot come out. The person himself cannot come out of that pit with his own endeavors. It's not possible. When one goes into that depression state, that was Chitraketu's situation. So Chitraketu was lamenting so severely. So we can learn a lesson from that episode as well. So another lesson to learn in this second section is like a meeting that happens between Angira Muni. Angira Muni, in that meeting, he brings up a very important question. Because what happens, the great saintly people now, they can easily understand the minds of conditioned souls simply by observing. Simply by observation, they will understand the mind of a conditioned soul, right? So, like, we there is a saying like, face is the index of the mind. If when a person is cheerful, then his mind is also cheerful. And it appears externally also. And that's how he is visibly cheerful externally also. But if a person is depressed in the mind, and if he is hopeless in the mind, externally he cannot put, he cannot put up a face of smile for a very long time. Even if he puts up also, but it doesn't remain for long. Like they say, right? Smiling faces and crying hearts. The heart is always crying, but he's just showing off that I'm happy in the world. We are all in that situation only right now. Being in this material world, we are actually crying in the heart, but we are putting up smiling faces externally. So that's the situation. So we can learn many things from this. So Chitraketu doesn't look happy at all. Then Angira Muni, he raises the topic of mind control in that section. So he says that without mind control, it's not possible to be happy and satisfied in this world. So that is the second part of Chitraketu meeting with Angira. So one part of Chitraketu meeting with Angira is Chitraketu's lamentation. The other part is Angira Muni's explanation of Chitraketu lamentation or mature. He maturely estimates. He does the estimation of Chitraketu's lamentation. Where Angira Muni immediately he looks up and tells him, you are not happy. That is the second section. Then third section, Chitraketu, he has, he is in full ecstasy. He is in full overwhelmed with joy for obtaining a son. Then Kritadyuti was also very happy, but Kritadyuti's co-wives were neglected by the king. And because of that, the queen develops insecurity and envy towards that child. So this is another important lesson to be learned from this section. So we can learn a lesson from the co-wives of the Kritadyuti also. The queens of king who has been neglected by the king. Then the last part of this chapter is lamentation of Chitraketu and Kritadyuti. This is very, very important section. Though, again, they were hankering for a son, but they lose the son at the end. Actually, we should also see how they are lamenting also. It's not just, I'm just giving you synopsis so that, for the next rest of the classes, you will be more attentive and try to learn more, draw more lessons as you are hearing. And, just not drawing the lessons, but you please try to apply in our lives also. These are all examples that we encounter in our lives. So this will help us in, if we remember, and then if we apply in our life, that is a success of our Krishna consciousness. So we see we have to learn how they are lamenting also. That is one thing. And then what are they speaking while lamenting? And how it is full of illusion. And we should also see how Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining, illusion. Srimad Bhagavatam also teaches here in this section that, how illusion manifests in the conditioned souls. This is so important. Why? Because even in our lives, we become subjected to illusion, right? So this is very, very important chapter, as a whole, that we should we should learn and go through this very deeply, very carefully, very attentively. Okay. So with this, we will start with shloka number 1 today. There it is. Internet is slow, looks like. Yeah. Is it visible? The shloka is visible?
No, Mata. Now it's visible.
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Can someone read? Sindhu Mataji?
read,
Okay.
Mataji.
You
Yes,
can
Mataji.
read.
Hare Krishna pranams to you.
Hare Krishna.
I will start with text 1, Mataji.
Yes. Text 1.
Okay, Mataji. Translation, right? And purport also. I'll read. Okay, let me start, Mataji.
Yeah. Yes.
Shri Parikshit Uvacha Rajasthamah Swabhavasya Brahman Vrittasya Papmanah Narayane Bhagavati Katam Ashidritamatihi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, O learned Brahmana, demons are generally sinful, being obsessed with the modes of passion and ignorance. How then could Vritsasur have attained such exalted love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana? Purport: in this material world, everyone is obsessed with the modes of passion and ignorance. However, unless one conquers these modes and comes to the platform of goodness, there is no chance of one's becoming a pure devotee. This is confirmed by Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita 7.28. Esham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmana te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridavitaha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. Since Vritsasur was among the demons, Maharaja Parikshit wondered how it was possible for him to have become such an exalted devotee. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Start the Parikshit Maharaj enthusiasm and attentiveness hearing the Katha. Very clear, right? So he's not just thinking that okay, some demon has come and then Indra fought with the demon and then he offered some prayers and he had been killed and Indra got his position back. Katha is over. Okay, let us go back. No, it is not like that. He is making a relevant inquiries. What is he saying? Rajas Thamas Swabhavasya. Who is he talking about? He's talking about Vritrasya, Vritrasura. And he's saying he is Papamanaha. Oh Brahman, oh Sukadeva Goswami, please tell me, how did he become this Vritrasura? How he became Narayane Bhagavati Katham Asid? How was, how is that, he developed devotion to the Supreme Lord in such a manner, in which manner, Dridamati means with such determination. Katham means how is that possible? So he's asking this question, that how this Vritrasura became a devotee in his previous life. I wanted to know. You want to know the whole story. Once Sukadeva Goswami finished the story of Vritrasura, he did not stop it. Parikshit Maharaj was so eager to know how is this demon who was like, he is supposed to be a demon, but he behaving like a devotee. At what is previous life? He wanted to know everything about such great personality. So that's why he asking this. So here we see Prabhupada is quoting this shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Yesham tva antagatam papam. So here Prabhupada is mentioning that one has to put full stop to sinful activities. For that, what we have to do? First, we should develop a desire for liberation from 3 modes and also liberation from the contaminated desires that we have within us. And we should feel unhappy about our material desires. And we should develop a deep desire to get rid of them. Then, after that, when we read Srila Prabhupada books and hear the lectures, gradually we develop some devotion. And that devotion will help us to elevate our consciousness. That's how the Rupa Goswami gives the definition of pure devotional service also. He says, Anyavilashita Shunyam. Anyavilashita Shunyam means no avilasha. You should not have any desires. All desires, material desires should be full stop. Along with that, he also says Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. We should give up even Bhuktikam, Muktikam, whatever we have, all that we have to give up along with nullifying our material desires. And then he says, Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. So Anushila for Krishna makes our devotion very powerful. And then one can attain pure bhakti. So therefore, one should endeavor to put full stop to sinful activities, means putting full stop to material desires. Because what happens? Ignorance actually leads to sin, and sin leads to hell and suffering, right? Sin leads to suffering. Whatever you do, commit a sin, for that you have to suffer back. But why do you make a sin? Because of the ignorance. Why ignorance comes? Actually, what is ignorance? Ignorance means our mind is filled with material desires. And the ignorance, how does it come? It arises from the wrong perception. Seeing the objects of the world with the desire to enjoy. So with that perception, when we see, we do from, we develop the material desires. Like, if you take a naphthalene ball, and if you see the naphthalene ball and consider it as a nice peppermint, what happens? Is it a right perception or wrong perception?
Wrong perception.
Wrong one.
Correct. It is wrong perception, because naphthalene ball cannot become a peppermint, right? It is smelling nice, it is glittering, it is very attractive. But what will happen if we eat it? We will die. So unfortunately, many things which are bad for us is very attractive in this world. So ignorance perspective means getting attracted to wrong things and also dangerous things. So in order to rise above the ignorance, we have to work on removing the material desires. That happens when we slowly work on removing the contamination of our heart, and slowly, we take up this process of Krishna consciousness very seriously by hearing and chanting. Okay. So now Parikshit is asking wonderful question now. He's continuing to ask this question to Sukadev Goswami. So we'll see in the next shloka what he says. Divya Mataji.
Devanam Shuddha Sattvanam. Devanam Shuddha Sattvanam Rishinam Chamalatmanam Bhaktir Mukunda Charena Na Prayeno Pajayate. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Demigods situated in the mode of goodness and great saints cleansed of the dirt of material enjoyment hardly ever render pure devotional service at the lotus feet of Mukunda. Therefore, how could Vratasura have become such a great devotee? Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So see how exalted question he is asking. Actually, Parikshit Maharaj, he is wondering how Vritrasura could get such a high position. Because, see, is not only talking about demigods here. Now here you see in the verse, demigods situated in the mode of goodness and grain saints cleansed of dirt of material enjoyment. So he is not only talking about that, he is also telling who are those, great saints. He's also talking about people like Shiva and all those people also. That you can be a great saint who has become Amalatmana. Amalatmana means what? Where there is no contamination in the heart. But just by becoming by not having any contaminations in the heart, can we develop pure devotion service? Not necessary. Not necessary. Because there are some great souls, even though they are pure at heart, means that they may not have material desires, but in there are some people who are impersonalists. In their hearts, they are impersonalists. Or some people, they have not developed, they don't worship Supreme Lord in a loving devotion service. They have a reverential worship towards the Lord. that is not, but the prayers offered by Vritrasura is what? It's a pure devotional service in love and devotion. It's a bhakti that is experienced in the Goloka. He wanted to go back to Goloka with, in the abode of Krishna. That is not possible for great saints also who are Amalatmanam. Here in the shloka comes now, who have purified their existence, Amalatmanam, who don't have any contamination in the hearts. But there are some demigods also. Even the demigods, even the great saints who are Amalatmanam, they also cannot attain that pure devotion service. In such a case, how is that this Vritrasura was able to become a great devotee? Because it is such is the rare to render pure devotion at the lotus feet of Mukunda. So we should understand that by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, somehow this is the rarity. I was talking about the first section where rarity of bhakti is explained. So this is the rarity of bhakti. Though we are not, how many acharyas earlier have come and given such kind of knowledge to all of us. They have not imparted such knowledge to us. No, but by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have got this rarest of pure devotional service in our lives. So we should take it very seriously. So that's how this Parikshit Maharaj is questioning to Sukadeva Goswami. So we'll move on to the next shloka. Okay, we will read. Yes, yes, Aras Mataji, you read.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Text 3. Rajobi Samak Sankyata Artevair Iha Jantava Tesham Ye Kechane Hante Shreyo Vai Manujadayaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. In this material world, there are many living entities as atoms. Among these living entities, a very few are human beings, and among them, few are interested in following religious principles. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So this is another characteristics of rarity of bhakti. So there are many living entities in the material world. Even atoms are also living entities. But among all those living entities, only few are human beings, and even that few human beings, only few are interested in following religious principles. So much is the rare. The Parikshit Maharaj is explaining us the rarity of the bhakti here. Yeah, now Kishori Mataji, can you read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prayo mumukshva tesham kechaneva dvijotam mumukshanam sahasreshu kaschinam muchyeta siddhayati. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O best of Brahmanas, Sukadeva Goswami, out of many persons who follow religious principles, only a few desire liberation from the material world. Among many thousands who desire liberation, one may be actually achieve liberation, giving up material attachment to society, friendship, love, country, home, wife, and children. And among many thousands of such liberated persons, one who can understand the true meaning of liberation is very rare. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So here we see that Prabhupada mentions like here he's still saying that out of so many persons who follow religious principles, only few will desire for liberation, and those few in which they desire for liberation, actually very few will achieve the liberation by giving up what? Material attachments. So, and among many thousands of such liberated persons, one who can understand the true meaning of liberation is very rare. So, what is real liberation. That what is a real liberation? The real liberation is to liberate ourselves from the material desires, first of all. That is the true liberation, not to get entangled again in the cycle of birth and death. So here Prabhupada mentions about 4 classes of people, and then he says the karmis, they try to become happy within this material world by changing from one body to another. They enjoy this, the karmis, they enjoy bodily comforts, either earthly or heavenly. And what about jnanis? This is jnanis understands that I can't be happy here. They understand that in this material world they cannot be happy. So they aspire for freedom from material bondage. And then such a person, he gives up attachment to society, friendship, love, country, family, wife and children, so many things. And among such persons who are in that Vanapastha stage, one may understand the value of becoming a sannyasi, completely accepting the renounced life. So that means that many jnanis aspire for sannyas, but not everyone becomes sannyas. That is also very rare. There are actually 4 types of sannyas. I don't know how many of you know. The sannyas stage has got 4 stages. The first stage is the first one is called Kutichaka, and second is Bahudaka, then Parivajakacharya, then Paramahamsa. The last one is Paramahamsa, sannyas. So in Kutichaka, what happens? The person lives in a village where he's allowed to serve. He doesn't live with the family in the same house, but he is he makes a separate area, he lives there, and he will do there and make sure that he gets dabba to eat. The wife goes and the wife gives food to him. That is allowed. The wife is allowed to serve him. So the first stage of sannyas. So here he is preparing not to leave home, but he lives separately from family. And in this case, both wife and husband are very spiritual. Very spiritual. So it is allowed for the wife to come and give food to the husband. And then Bahudaka. In this, what happens is the person slowly develops the vairagya. That he develops that vairagya detachment, and he goes. He doesn't. The wife will not come in this scenario, but actually the person goes from door to door, like how a honeybee collects honey from one flower to another flower. Like that, he goes from door to door and he begs alms. So now he is not dependent on wife anymore. He is not dependent on children. He is not dependent on his family. He stands on his own legs collecting alms and is satisfied with whatever he gets. The Parivajakacharya is, he does not do it in one village. He moves from one village to another village, and he travels all over the globe, different places. In fact, sannyasi stays only 1 or 2 days in one place, and they keep moving, always moving. So one of the reasons of moving is that if they stay in one place, what happens? They will come to know about the people living there. They develop attachment to the place, to the things, to the people, wherever they are staying. So if you stay very short in one place, you will not know, and you will not know anything about that place, and you will not get to know the people also. So that's why they keep moving. And the last stage is Paramahamsa stage. That Paramahamsa stage is once they become a little older and they have sufficiently done the preaching activities, going out and glorifying the Lord, that then they come to a stage where they decide to sit at one place and go deeper in their own sadhana, and then they meditate, not physical meditation, they just go deeper in their sadhana of practice of devotional service towards the Supreme Lord. So that is the Paramahamsa stage. So you are able to understand how this increasing detachment is there in this four stages of sannyas. So there is a from there the detachment is increasing from one order to another order when we are going one stage to another stage. So that's how it is. But in for Prabhupada told, you don't need to go here and there and whatever it is. One need not take sannyas, especially vanaprasthas. Once they become vanaprasthas, the wife and husband, the husband need not take a sannyas. Instead, they can live in the same house, but live in a very devoted and detached manner. So that, which is very conducive towards our devotional life. That's what is practiced in our Krishna conscious movement here. Okay, so we'll move on to the next shloka. Yeah, this is a very famous verse. Who will read?
Shall I read, Mataji?
Prashanti Mataji. Yes.
Yeah. Muktanamapi siddhanam narayana parayanaha sudurlabha prashantatma kotishvapi mahamune. Shall I read translation, Mataji?
Yes, translation is okay, but it's very big. Yeah.
Mataji, I can't see the translation.
Can you see now, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. O great says, among many millions who are liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation, one may be devotee of Lord Narayana or Krishna. Such devotees who are fully peaceful are extremely rare. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So he's saying, Parikshit Maharaj is only telling that, among so many liberated souls and who have perfected their knowledge about liberation, one may be a devotee of the Lord Narayan or Krishna. Such devotees who are fully peaceful are extremely rare. So this means the worshippers of Lord Narayan or worshippers of Lord Krishna are very, very rare. Vaishnavas are very rare in this material world. That is what Parikshit Maharaj is saying. So that's how the bhakti is so rare. So here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions, he nicely blends, he gives the whole synopsis of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purport here in this verse. I won't be touching everything, but the important points here, I'll just share. So here, one aspect is here, simply desiring mukti or liberation is insufficient. One must become factually liberated. But desiring liberation is not sufficient, but one should really be liberated. When one understands the reality of the materialistic way of life, one becomes advanced in knowledge, and therefore he situates himself in the Vanaprastha order unattached to the family, wife, and children. So then Prabhupada mentions one should back to, then after that one has to take sannyas, then a renounced order they have to take, and one should not again fall back to the materialistic life. Then he talks about jnanis, yogis, and karmis. These people, they are devoid of devotional service and they are called offenders. Why offenders? Srila Prabhupada, Srila Mahaprabhu says, Mayavadi, Krishna Aparadi. One who thinks that everything is Maya. Instead of thinking that everything is Krishna, if you think that everything is Maya, then that person is an offender, an aparadhi. And Prabhupada mentions Mayavadi, there are this category. He talks about the personalist and impersonalist. And even the impersonalist, there are two kinds. That also a genuine, jnanis are of two types. One is impersonalist and personalist. And under personalist, there is a bogus personalist and genuine personalist. What is meant by bogus personalist? Bogus personalist, they believe in the Lord, but they don't worship Lord Narayan. Instead, they worship demigods. Or there are some category of people, they don't worship anything, but they believe in, there's a supreme Lord, but they don't worship any form of the Lord. They are called bogus personalists, and genuine personalists are those who worship the form of the Lord. Okay. So here one important thing is the Brahma's prayers. Here it comes. Yeah, this one. So one is inclined. So there are two kinds of jnanis. One is inclined to devotional service, and the other is impersonal realization. One is personalist, who is inclined to devotional service. The other person is impersonalist. So impersonalists generally undergo great endeavor, but for no tangible benefit, and therefore it is said that they are husking paddy that has no grain. This tula tushava ghatinaha. So this is a prayer the Brahma offers in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This prayer comes from 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which Prabhupada is quoting here. So what is he saying? It means, see, if you have a husk, if you have an empty husk, and if you're beating the empty husk, what you get? Do you get anything out of it? Can anyone say?
Nothing, Mataji.
Nothing, dust.
Yeah. Nothing you get, but you get one thing. What is it? You get
Dust.
pain in the hand just by beating that empty husk. Similarly, Prabhupada is mentioning these impersonalists, they don't get anything. They'll not get anything. They'll, there's no benefit. It is just like beating the empty husk. It is like that. So elsewhere, Prabhupada also mentions that the Brahma also makes one in one of the prayers. He also says that whoever takes the shelter of demigods, they are like holding the dog's tail. So, and in that prayer, Brahma mentions that can you catch the tail of the dog and cross the ocean? Is it possible for any of us? By catching the tail of the dog, can we cross the ocean? No, right? So it is not possible. So similarly, like by taking a shelter of demigods, can we go back to God? It is not possible at all. So all those prayers, comes here. So Prabhupada talks about all that here, and then he speaks about Narayana Parayana. This last, So who are these Narayan Parayana? Narayan Parayana are those who are devotees of the Lord. Who are the devotees of the Lord are actually Narayan Parayana. So this he says they are very rare. There may be so many Narayanas, but in that Narayanas who worship Lord Narayan also. But in that Narayan Parayana, the worshippers of Lord Vishnu, the devotees are very rare. The devotee one who, why it is so rare? Because who is actual devotee? Who are these Narayan Parayanas? These are the people who act Supreme Lord as a supreme, and they follow these 9 processes of devotion service also. And not only that, they will also develop a deep affection and towards the Supreme Lord. So actually, this point also comes. What is the difference here? Prabhupada mentions last statement, the difference between the Siddhas and Narayana Parayanas is that direct devotees are called Narayana Parayanas, whereas those who perform various types of mystic yoga are called Siddhas. They perform mystic yoga and they are called Siddhas. So actually, what is the difference, of the Narayana Parayana and those who are not Narayana Parayana? Actually, many people do the same thing. Like, for example, see, Lakshmi Devi is taking a jadu and she's sweeping. So that is, anybody can do that. That is a normal activity, right? It's an activity. The jadu sweeping is one of the activity. And Rukmini Devi is fanning a peacock to who is that, Sudama, right? So that anybody can. All of us also can take a peacock feather and we can also fan. Right. So, but these may all seem very small or minor or insignificant activities or normal activities, but the attitude behind the activity is very important. That is the difference. That is what makes a difference between Narayana Parayana and the other classes of people. The people who are Narayana Parayana, their attitude of doing activities is to please Krishna, is to please Guru, to please the Vaishnavas. So this is their center. And for all others, the center is I, me, mine. Okay. Or they want to achieve some mystic yogas, or they want to go to Indraloka or Swargaloka, whatever. So their destinations are different. But the Narayana Parayana destination is only to please the Lord as a menial servant of a Lord, by understanding their position and by understanding the position of the Lord. That makes the difference. So that's why they are Sudurlabha. They are very, very rare. They are very, very rare. Okay. So we'll move on to the next shloka. Okay, who will read? Okay, sure, Mataji. Okay, go ahead, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Text number 6. Vrittastu sa katam papah sarvalokapata panah itam dradamatihi Krishna asita sangrama ulbale bane. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Pratasura was situated in the blazing fire of battle and was an infamous sinful demon, always engaged in giving troubles and anxieties to others. How could such a demon become so greatly Krishna conscious? Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. So the Parikshit Maharaj is really wondering. So even we also got very amazed, right? When we heard that, the hippies became happies. How is that possible? The hippies became happies. In India, people were amazed to see how the foreigners were taking Krishna conscious movement. So, with so much deep devotion in their hearts. So similarly here, Parikshit Maharaj is amazed how Vritrasura, being a demon, how he could take, he could become a very great Krishna conscious person. So what is the reason for his advancement? He wanted to know actually. So that is what he is asking. I'm eager to know about Vritrasura's life. So this is the last question that he asked. And then Sukadeva Goswami starts speaking. So that we will hear in the next class. But we'll end here with this shloka. So who will volunteer for this last shloka?
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I?
Yes, Padma Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Atra na samsayo bhuyan shrotum kautuhalam prabhu ya paurushena samare sahasraksham adokshayat. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, Sukadeva Goswami, although Vritrasura was a sinful demon, he showed the powers of the most exalted Kshatri. Powers prowess of a most exalted Kshatriya and satisfied Lord Indra in battle. How could such a demon be a great devotee of Lord Krishna? These contradictions have caused me great doubt, and they have made me eager to hear of this from you. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
This is the exaltedness of Parikshit Maharaj. So he's asking that, how he was showing the prowess of Kshatriya also, and he has satisfied Lord Indra also. How such a, how could such a terrible and sinful demon be a great devotee of Lord Krishna? There's, all these are contradictions that are running in my mind. So please speak about this and clear all my doubts. This is what he is asking humbly, Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Okay. So this is the end of this section. So you can hear the section from the next class. Thank you so much for all of your patient hearing and participation. If you have any questions. Okay, if nothing, so we'll end here. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you said that sannyasis, they go from place to place.
There
they
are
stay
4
only for 2
stages.
days.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji, they stay only for 2 days and they wander again. So what was the reason, Mataji? Can you just please repeat that? You gave some reason.
Yeah. I mean, Prabhupada says that there was a curse that is being given by Prabhupada. Prabhupada talks from the Shastras that Narada Muni was also cursed not to stay at one place. Narada Muni was also a preacher. He is also like a sannyasi. He's going one place to another place and then he's preaching the activities. So he was cursed by Daksha. Like that curse we are also sharing. Like that Prabhupada says. But actually in the Shastras, this Parivajacharyas, who are, travelers all over the globe, they don't stay at one place more than 2 days, because if you stay for more than 2 days at any place, like even you notice, even wherever you go, any class is happening, if you are going and sitting in a class every day, some seminar is happening, consider that, or any meeting in the office, if it is happening every day, if there is a meeting, consider for 5 days there is a meeting. So you choose one place, like one seat you will select, and you come every day, you automatically go and sit in that seat only. You will not, there will be many other chairs, but you will not go and sit in another chair at all. Because automatically your mind gets tuned to only that place. The attachment comes up. Like that, if you stay at one place for more than 2 days, you get attached to that place. And you will get to know about the people, and you get attached to the people, to the things of that place. So not to get attached, the sannyasis just go around the globe. They don't stay more than 2 days, like that.
Thank you, Mataji. Understood. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.